basically. It was a game that Sean Dyche probably has wet dreams about, genuinely.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and per usual, I am here with Coach. What's going on, Coach? How are you?
Yeah, this is a bit weird for me because usually if I'm at games, I'm not really on the pod. They exiled me, guys. They're like, fuck. They essentially said, "Fuck this Brit." Like we don't even need him anyway. So this is
It's
very,
like,
very strange for me. I will not lie to you.
it is, it is. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the people who are supposed to be on this pod do not have the minerals to be
Yeah,
here.
man.
Now,
The
in
most,
Mitch's defense, Mitch hit us up yesterday and
Mhm.
said he was going to be doing some white boy travel shit, so he
Mhm.
wasn't going to be available today. So
Looks
he gets a
amazing,
pass.
by the way.
Yeah. But Gabby,
Listen,
Gabby.
listen. Her heart pump Kool-Aid. She ain't built for this. She ain't
Oh
built for
man.
this.
Gabby, next time you come back, you gotta do something immaculate to rep for Jamaica because
Yeah,
this is not the Jamaica I know. This is not,
yeah.
like you're
Honestly,
moving like Raheem Sterling right now, Gabby. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're not even
do you want
showing
do
up.
you want to be like that? Do you want to be like Raheem Sterling? Do you? That's what
All
I'll
right,
say on
let's
that.
get into this, man. We are here to discuss Arsenal 0, ugh, Everton 0.
Yeah,
There are no two ways about this, coach. This is a bad result for us.
it's
Bad
terrible, man.
result. This is a team that went to United, was it last weekend or the weekend before, and lost
Yeah,
4-0.
I know.
So a team that's not nearly as good as Arsenal think they are, or that we think Arsenal is. So let's start like we always start. The lineup. We got to see the vaunted Rice, Marino, Odegaard
Mm,
midfield for essentially, I suppose, the second time because we did see it
mm.
against Monaco, I believe, in the midweek.
Yeah, we did. We did.
And
Yeah.
while that game went well, I can't necessarily say that I thought that the midfield was fantastic or anything like that. The left side
Yeah.
was working a little bit better in that game, I feel like. But I wanted to see us take a step forward in this game.
Hmm.
But between that and the fact that we had our academy graduate who also did very well against Monaco, Miles
Mm,
Lewis Skelly, from now henceforth MLS, that's what we
mm.
calling him, in the lineup. What you saw that on your way to the game?
Yeah.
What were you thinking? What was your mood like?
Um, to be blunt, we need some more black in midfield. Like, let me just keep it a buck. Like, I'm fine with the defense. I'm fine with the defense. Like, regardless of who plays now at this point, now that we've got some bodies back, I'm fine with who's playing in defense. But man, can we get some melanin in my midfield? Uh, I'm just being real. No, but jokes aside, look, that midfield is what I want to say most people think is our best and is how do I put it, our most optimal, and I totally respect it, and in some ways I agree, um but there is still some obvious gaps there, and I feel like in the Champions League it's weird. I feel like it's in reverse. In the Champions League you normally get punished for certain things, but I feel like actually this midfield is in reverse. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's what I like to call the Arsenal fans' final fantasy midfield.
Yeah.
like, like like when everything is working perfectly, these are the guys we're gonna put there. And weirdly enough, I would say my issue with the midfield,
Mm,
after a very small sample size so far,
mm,
is that somehow it lacks creativity because the person you'd expect to bring the most creativity in the bunch is not quite holding up his end of the bargain.
mm,
I'm not gonna suggest that Martin Odegaard is hurt or anything like that, but a couple weeks ago we were talking about, is this the best version of him we've seen like since
mhm,
he's been at Arsenal? Like post coming back from injury, the Chelsea game,
mm,
the Sporting game, and now he's doing all the things that I've been bitching about for years that I do not
mhm.
enjoy. But we'll get into it a little later. What did you make of the start of the game? You missed the first 5 minutes getting into the stadium, but once you
Yeah.
sat down and got settled, what did you make of our start? I thought we started well.
Do you know when I got in, we was on the attack. I literally got in. I think it was literally just ticking over to the 6th minute or 7th minute, right? And we were on the attack. So I was like, okay, cool. This is good. This is good. Like there's some momentum behind us. Um, I don't want to save it till a little later, but I'll just bring it up now anyway. Throughout the entire game, right, it felt like the crowd was pushing the team forward, which is a good thing, by the way. Even I'm talking late. I'm talking 93 plus minutes at this point. We are pushing the team forward. No one's lost faith, right? So even from the minute go, everyone's on board. Everyone feels like, yeah, and I feel like, okay, this is good. We know they're sat in this deep block and they go from the mid block to the deep block to mid block to the deep block kind of thing. but we're pushing forward, and I'm positive, kind of thing. There's some stuff said in the instant reaction I'll probably have to mention again here, but we were trying to push them back and generate chances, which is all you can ask for at Emirates. That's literally all you can ask for. So, yeah.
Well said, well said. I don't think we lingered enough on it.
Yeah.
MLS at left back.
Yeah.
I suppose he hasn't really even been tested defensively. I don't think in the time that he's played there. I think when he played against Salah a couple months ago at this point, when Liverpool came to the
Yeah.
Emirates, I don't even remember a whole bunch of one-on-one duels there, because
No,
that's
there
sort of
wasn't.
like the final frontier for me. Like, I want to see
Mm,
how he does. I know personally, having watched him at youth level,
mm,
that he's good in the duels.
mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to see it at the higher level so I can say that this is what it is. That said, what we have to judge is how he's been on the ball, how he's inverted into midfield, the sort
Mm.
of passes that he's chosen to make. What did you make of his performance?
So I have no issues with what he is as a player because he's not a left back. Like he's, but I think I said in our season preview that the only way he's getting minutes in this team is at left back. He's not playing in midfield this season for Arsenal, so no shocks there. But it's very clear he's a midfielder playing at left back, and that's not a criticism. I do enjoy that about his game, but both our fullbacks, to be honest, great in position. Trying to, I suppose, create overloads and to stretch them at certain points as well, even just to draw people into them. But they did not overlap once, and I take big issue with that. Not because I'm a traditionalist and stuff like that, but it's a lack of variation in attacking because we had all of the ball and they were always an option. They were fine receiving the ball, 30, 40 yards from goal where there's one player pressing them and they're both excellent under pressure. They'll goes past them, it's no problem. But what about making a sacrificial long bursting run in behind? It might be instruction. It genuinely might be instruction.
That was
Even
that was
then,
my next question. Do you think it's instruction?
at this point, it has to be the fact that neither of them made. I don't. I think late before he went left back, Timber made a couple of overlapping runs, but they weren't. He was already inverting. Then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm overcutting it. Let me actually just move to make the overlapping run." It wasn't straight. He was already wide and just thought, "Yeah, let me just do it," kind of thing. And that I don't enjoy. With MLS now, MLS is still young and I get it, but I will say one thing that I generally do enjoy about his game: doesn't get rustled. He generally looks like the calmest man on the pitch, and that is a huge testament to him considering Saliba plays for us. Like that's incredible. So
Pretty much. It's funny you mentioned Saliba because and calmness, because there was a play very early in the game, probably before you got to your seat, where Everton had the ball. They tried to get forward. I think was Carvin Lewin,
mm,
and Saliba took the ball from him so casually. It
yeah,
was almost insulting. It was like, bro, why are you making me sweat? Like, stop
yeah,
this. Don't play with me. But anyway, back to MLS. I would say, so far in the limited amount of time I've seen him play, what I enjoy most about him is
mm-hmm,
he's such a midfielder in that he almost has an aversion to passing backwards.
mm-hmm,
He doesn't want to do it ever. Like every time he gets the ball, he wants to pass forwards. And not only does he want to pass forward, he wants to pass forward inside the block.
mm-hmm,
He's not looking to, like, he will pass up the opportunity to play the simple pass out to his winger
mm-hmm,
if it means that he can take another 2 seconds on the ball to maybe get something into the striker or into one of the eights ahead of him. He just really is about that central axis.
yeah,
And there was a moment in the second half, we'll get to that eventually, but there was a moment in the second half where a pass from him, I think it was from him to Marino, almost led to something.
yeah,
But I'm sure we'll see lots more of MLS as the season goes on, and
yeah,
hopefully we'll be saying very, very positive things about him. So far, so good. I have no complaints. Very
yeah,
impressed to have him. Now it's time to have the conversation that I really was hoping not to have, but it's about Odegaard.
yeah,
Because I think in a lot of ways, we all have our favorites, and that's okay. I
mm,
mean, that's why we watch this. We're not all supposed to like the same players. There are 11 of them. Everyone can pick what they want in a player. I mean, there are people who probably thought Cedric was the bee's knees, and they
mm-hmm,
were pissed that Arteta didn't give this man more minutes. Like, it is what it is. I'm not mad at anybody. But I do feel that he gets a bit of a easy ride from the fan base in general. Like,
oh yeah,
we talk about him like he's this KDB level genius. And some of the things he does are so far beneath his talent level for me that I get confused. Like sometimes I see him do things like there was a through ball that he played in the first half in this game.
mm,
when I believe Martinelli and Havertz, we had counter press, we got the ball back, I think, which is something he does very well. He's probably the best at it. Then he plays this ridiculous pass to nowhere that just goes to their keeper, and it's like, what are you doing, man?
I
Like,
remember that actually. Yeah,
yeah, it pissed you
yeah,
off, didn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't
But
threaten to
there was,
shoot him, but it pissed me off. So
but
yeah,
you know what? I'm used to that.
yeah.
I'm used to that. I know that it's probably the flaw in this game for me. The main flaw in this game is
Final pass. It's his
his
final pass.
final pass, which is
Yeah.
weird because we talk, like when you look at the stats, for instance,
Mm.
he's like the leading through ball passer in Europe. Now that KDB's hamstrings are made of ham and shit.
Mm.
But when you watch the games, he'll get one every game,
Yeah.
one or two. But he'll miss like 4 or 5 that he should totally be getting. And I find that very frustrating.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Odegaard, and I think you touched on it maybe a year ago, I want to say, but you said that and I didn't really disagree, but I think now it's more evident more than ever. Odegaard's final form is a second phase machine monster. That's his final form. Despite his great work in the front line pressing, right? Or he doesn't have to do that often because Arsenal have so much of the ball. But in the second phase, he's essentially. I made a joke about Gabby Jesus being Red Skull, taking people to a treasure that he can't obtain. That's Odegaard's job now, I think. Like genuinely. And I feel like we're looking at the signing of Marino and stuff like that, and that's fine. We have a squad for a reason, but look, Odegaard has to give the ball to someone who is going to not miss those passes. Like genuinely, like I feel like if we're like as the team evolves, Arteta's going to he's going to look for more creativity. If he doesn't, then my mind will be blown genuinely. But Odegaard has to be the one feeding that ball to to continue feeding it to Saka, but feeding it to the other eight, the other attacking eight. That attacking eight has to be
He plays the pass before the pass.
exactly, and he's good at that.
He's the assist guy, and that is a very valuable skill to have. I'm
Yeah,
not mad at it,
yeah,
but he's not what people talk about him like he's KDB. He's
yeah.
not a KDB type. He's not an Ozil type.
No,
He's
see,
more.
see,
He's
him and
more
Ozil.
like, at his peak. At his peak, if things go really well for us,
Yeah,
I think he's really just a slightly less athletic. What's his name? Real Madrid guy, 39-year-old.
oh Modric.
Yes, that is Odegaard at his peak.
Yeah,
In the final third, like Modric can give you something in the final third.
yeah,
That's not really why you put him on the field.
No.
And it's really strange because we've been watching Odegaard since he was a 15-year-old boy.
yeah,
And when he was younger, it seemed very obvious to me that this guy had immense offensive talent. Hit these shots from, like he would cut in from the wing like Saka does now. But that was in the Norwegian league, bullying people two times his age or whatever. But as he's developed as a player over time, I think somewhere between him coming to Arsenal and Arteta, readjusting him
yeah,
and messing with his knobs and fiddles and shit, pause and all that, by the way. He's like the best offense. I mean, this was a man that got 15 goals.
yeah.
2
Non-penalty.
seasons. So to watch him be somewhat, I don't know if inept is too harsh a word, but it's been going on for long enough that I'm like, he don't really got it in the final third. But back to you, I'm sorry.
No. So, and I know, and I can just imagine Mitch is tearing his hair out right now listening to this, and probably Gabby as well. But
Mitch
this
don't listen to
isn't,
this shit.
yeah, this isn't a criticism of him. Like Odegaard can obviously play a final pass, but we're talking about consistency is the word of the day, to be honest, because it's Arsenal's biggest problem, results wise and just form wise in general. But it's the consistency of them. Like I've seen Odegaard just this season alone play like 3 or 4 outstanding final passes. Some have led to goals, some haven't, kind of thing.
Today, I saw him do it.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. But there's guys that you have in your team that you give them the ball and you just know that final ball is going to like you. Okay, put it like this. This is live proof of it, right? When Ozil was in his peak at Arsenal, so his first, I want to say 3.5 years at Arsenal, right? Whenever he got the ball off Ramsey, or whenever he got the ball off even Arteta or Cazorla kind of thing, all of us, you have that pause before a shot flat, like when you shoot the ball and it's going in, it's on target, but there's a pause before it hits the net kind of thing.
Right.
We had that with Ozil when he makes the pass. So it's almost like you're expecting a goal when he makes a pass kind of thing. And I'm sorry, there's no expectation, at least for me with Odegaard, there isn't any expectation of that. Now, Odegaard has to still be in this team. He's one that he's arguably the main cog, if you like, kind of thing. But I'm looking beyond today. I'm looking beyond whatever kind of thing. I'm looking about, what's next for Arsenal, and he has to be that link. Keep giving it to Saka, but give it to the guy who is going to kill the team. Odegaard is not going to kill a team. Like, he's not going to. Him and Ozil would work fantastically well together, because Ozil will just find a space as he does, and he'll kill you from anywhere on the pitch. It's fine.
Yeah.
And Odegaard just isn't going to do that. But I still love him. I still think he's amazing, pretty much world class at this point. But that final pass,
It's so strange because we see him do it sometimes, and you're like, why don't you do this every time?
yeah,
It's very confusing because he has it, he just doesn't have it consistently.
yeah,
And honestly, if he never scores 15 goals in a season again, I don't mind. But if he somehow gets his final pass to become consistent, then for me, he would have fully achieved his potential as a player. Because I cannot for the life of me understand why he's not more consistent with his final ball.
no,
It's not even like a thing, like to get slightly narcissistic about it. I like to think of myself, like I played once upon a time at a much lower level. Like when you're a certain kind of player, certain kind of things come naturally to you. No matter where you're playing, you're going to do what you do. If you're the kind of guy that dribbles, you will naturally go to a pickup game in a new city and find yourself on the wing and try to take someone 1v1.
yeah,
That's just what you do. Back in my day, I was a similar-ish Odegaard-ish type guy in that the final pass was my theme. And it never went away. And the thing that confused me about Odegaard is that he does have it. It's just not consistent. And it's not that he doesn't see it. He sees it.
That's the thing.
His
Some players
technique
don't even
just
see
sees
it.
it at the moment of truth. And I don't understand it.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's not even sometimes it's he can. Okay, so let me roll this back a bit. He can deliver a final pass, right? He can. It's the weight of it more than anything, and that's the key thing here. We've been blessed and spoiled at Arsenal. I'm not going to refer to any other players, right? Because we know who these players are already.
We should actually to illustrate what we mean, because I'm thinking of a number of players.
No, but I'm just gonna use three.
Even Alex Hleb had a good final pass than this nigga.
He did, but
Rosicky, Nasr, Ozil,
I wouldn't say
Cazorla. All of these guys were more consistent with their final pass than Odegaard.
Cazorla absolutely was a more consistent final passer, but here's the thing, right? The weight of pass is the key. Odegaard often underhits or overhits like a chance, basically. So the ball does get through, or the ball travels, and sometimes doesn't make it past the first line, or sometimes it trickles through to the goalkeeper. And while I understand we're spending a bit too much time on this, I just want people to understand that we're being very clear on his ability. He is outstanding, but a player in his position, the final, and it's not a Bruno thing. Bruno's final pass isn't world class. He just spams a lot of shit, kind of thing, and throw enough shit at the wall, something will stick. That's pretty much how Bruno plays, which is it's admirable in some cases, kind of thing. But that's not what I.
Bro, this team could use some of that, I think. But
yeah, trust me, we're gonna get to that, Dean. I promise.
Yeah.
But my thing is because Odegaard is a lot more measured, kind of thing. If you also maybe download maybe 5 to 10% more CTE, we might get a more consistent final ball. I think personally, you're not going to be Ozil, because Ozil pretty much 8 times out of 10 is hitting that.
Ozil is like the peak of that talent.
Yeah,
like that's like we're comparing him to maybe arguably the best, one of the best final ball players ever.
Yeah.
So that's a very high standard. I just think he can be better than he is.
Yeah.
I find it very confusing. Then I know we've been on this for a while.
Yeah.
But we also have to talk about his finishing. Because if he does, for me, I've seen him do harder things. If he if he performs to 70% of his level in terms of finishing, we're not having a depressed conversation about our title chances being blown out of the water today and not taking advantage of Liverpool drawing a game. Because I can count 3 different opportunities where I thought he should have scored today. When he got the ball around the D and cut past 2 guys and screwed it wide.
And that's
back to the Monaco game.
Yeah,
the 1v1.
Yeah, yeah.
We killed Gabi Jesus.
Yeah.
a striker. He had a one-on-one where he had all the time in the world to decide what he wanted to do, and he screwed it wide. Keeper didn't make a save. Like, why? Like, I'm not saying like we need to stick together as a fan base, as a club, as a team, as a squad. But I don't like, and I've seen a lot of this. We're taping this a little bit later than we usually do. People have skipped right ahead to blaming the manager for things. The manager coached a 3-4-0 in the first half. People, he did. It's just that the guy that the chances fell to, the best chances fell to, did not perform to his level because his level is higher than that. He should have scored today.
Facts. And here's the thing as well. I think you're put it like this. I think when we go back to arguably one of my favorite goals, or maybe your favorite goal of the season, Saka against Nottingham Forest, you saw how Odegaard, the pass wasn't amazing, but it was enough, right? But it was a recognition of, okay, this is as far as I can go. Saka, you've got it now, kind of thing. And he just gave it to him in a position where Saka could work his magic a little bit and finish it from there, right? However, for me, had the roles been reversed, the ball gets to Odegaard, and Odegaard is nifty enough with his feet to manufacture the shot for himself. I have no doubt about that. Do I have confidence it's going in, though? At this current point in time, I'm not really sure. Like, we go back to the West Ham game, Saka gave him a penalty, right? And I felt like that was this is starting to get you on your feet, basically. And he just, I don't mean it in this way, but it's the only term I can think of right now. But he's kind of throwing it back in Saka's face. like you've taken a goal off Saka, yeah? Saka's on a record-breaking season. You've taken a goal off Saka, and you haven't, what the fuck have you done since then?
You gotta kick on. The whole point of, when Kai Havertz got the charity penalty at Bournemouth last season, it was so he could kick on. Yeah. And he did kick on.
Exactly.
And now you're shooting like Kai used to shoot. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is this?
So,
like, it literally called that area of the field the O-zone.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago when this guy was killing.
Yeah.
And now he can't put his foot through a ball. Like, I saw him play some through passes at Real Sociedad. There was this one that went through like half of a team.
I know. It came from the right-hand side. It came from the right-hand side.
Like, how can you be capable of that and be doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm upset with him, but I think it's probably time we move on.
Yeah. Because we love Odegaard, guys. We do love it. We're not that guy, and I know you. I hope you guys know who we mean, but I feel like it's very fair criticism. Like, everybody can get it, not Saka though, but everybody can get it. So,
like, and at the end of the day, let's be honest about what we're looking at.
Yeah.
If again, I don't think a lot of people were feeling very panicky at halftime because the team played well. Like, and not only did they play well, the balance that we saw against Monaco in midweek seemed to appear in this game as well. Martinelli was looking frisky, still not doing what we really want him to do in that scoring a goal, but that seems to be a team-wide issue at this point. What did you make of Declan Rice at the 6 today?
So I'll just talk about moments first before I talk about the overall performance, but he made some really good passes today going forward. He made some really bad ones as well. Only 1 or 2 to be fair, but intention is all I'm looking at from him as well. And the fact that he's getting the ball off Raya and he's turning really quickly and he's looking for the pass. And a key thing here is that we all know, right? Anyone that's watched Declan Rice long enough, even from West Ham days, he's very left side dominant. That's where he does a lot of his best work. And playing as the 6 now, like, he's got to do both. He's got to do left and right, basically. And I'm seeing some good stuff on the right. Not quite there yet, but I'm seeing some good stuff there on the right hand side. He's clipping passes. He's even switching play from the right hand side as well. He's doing good stuff, right? And the off the ball stuff, I will never have to worry about Declan Rice. Like, it is what it is. There was a time in the game where he won the ball. I think of Calvert-Lewin kind of thing, and it was the most. It was so rude that it was almost like they don't belong on the same football pitch together. Basically, it was so easy for him. So off the ball stuff, I'm not worried about. Go on.
Yeah, I said it was a lot of violence. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's that. But on my Blue Sky account, I spoke about. I think I forgot who it was, but it's quite a good stats account. But I quoted basically what Declan Rice is next evolution of his game if he's going to continue as a lone 6 under Arteta. Because let's be very clear, Arteta whether we want to admit it or not, he signed Declan Rice to get, but Arteta does favour a passer at the base of his midfield. He just does. Like, all the evidence points towards it. Even when he just got to the club, he was playing. He was experimenting with Lenny there. He was experimenting with Xhaka there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then obviously he bought number 5 kind of thing. Like, and then he bought Jorginho. None of these players are like Declan Rice. Not a single one of them. So
All
it's
measurements,
exactly
all
all mentioned. So
players, all primarily passers. Declan Rice
exactly.
is primarily a runner.
Exactly. So yeah, I think Arteta does want him to develop this part of his game, whether we want to admit it or not. So I see a lot of people bringing this argument that that's maybe Arteta wants to move on from. I hear all of that, but no, especially with the wingers that we've got and the way that we play, you cannot carry the ball to your wingers with the way that we play. You have to send the ball to them. So
You can't give them the ball and crowd them. It doesn't work.
exactly. So you can't carry the ball to Odegaard. It just doesn't work. It's not going to work. So yeah, Declan Rice is developing and he's getting better at it, and I have no issue with it. But the key words here is speed and volume. I don't mean the speed of the pass. I mean the speed at which he sees and delivers the pass. If that makes sense.
Right.
And then the volume of it, like the volume needs to be currently. If I had to say an estimate, I probably say he can do about 50% more. 50% more means 50% more chance that Saka and Odegaard and Martinelli are getting the ball, with that half-second extra time and space.
I do wonder though. I think we're a ways away from him being a volume passer. I think
Yeah,
I'll settle for him being having the right tempo on his passes,
yeah,
getting out quickly, taking it on his back. I'll settle for that for now. But
yeah,
that volume thing is different because we're essentially at that point you're running the entire team through him,
yeah,
like a Busquets type thing. And
yeah.
I don't know that he's ever going to be that level.
No,
Not even like Rodri
maybe
level, to
that's
be honest.
maybe that's unfair, but I do feel the volume does need to go up regardless. Anyway, maybe not to
Yes,
that
it
level.
does need to go up, but I
Yeah,
just think we need to be realistic, and especially given the other people in the midfield. Like
yeah,
it's not like Odegaard is not very useful if he's not touching the ball a lot.
yeah,
So Rice can't become the dominant personality there. Like it's going to be a shared, you know.
yeah,
And Arteta might fuck around and have to sell both these niggas at some point.
yeah.
But that's too much. My
Yeah.
bad, people. Sorry about
And
that.
he didn't threaten to shoot anyone, guys. So yeah,
Let's skip straight ahead to the second half.
yeah,
The only notable moment I can recall from the second half came
mhm.
very early when I forget how the ball got there, but the ball dropped to Saka in the box from very high up. And
It was a
he
cross.
volleys it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he volleys it, and Pickford saves it around his
yeah,
post for a corner. And after that, I think the subs came pretty quickly,
yeah,
and then the game kind of fell apart.
yeah.
But you,
So here's the thing, right? Arteta, not only just the players, but Arteta was always on the bench really early for the second half, right? I count probably about at least 3 minutes before Everton came back out, 3 to 4 minutes before Everton came back out,
them
and
niggas time wasting in the locker room.
yeah.
God damn.
So my estimations might be off, but it felt that way at least anyway. In fact, it was. I'm saying it. Just believe it. Thank you. um,
He said I was there.
yeah. So everyone is in a circle together. They're warming up like they're literally bouncing off. If there was walls there, they'll be bouncing off the walls. They're raring to go. They're raring to go. And then literally within the first 2 minutes, Saka volleys it to the near post after a cross, I think from Martinelli that Havertz had flicked on, right? And then from that, I don't know if we got a corner or not. I can't remember
We
if we got
did.
a corner or not. But anyway, the next corner that we got there, Saka is running. First, it's Odegaard geeing up the crowd with his hands or whatever else. And then straight after that, Saka's taking a corner. And as he's walking towards the corner, he's geeing up the crowd as well, kind of thing. So I'm thinking, yeah, all right, let's get this party started. This is now siege ball, you know what I mean? That this is the Emirates washing machine, if you like. Like, let's go, like kind of thing. And yeah, it wasn't. It just didn't. It just never came. It was just lots of pointless possession. Basically, it was a game that Sean Dyche probably has wet dreams about. Genuinely, like that he doesn't care about winning or even scoring goals. He's basically saying if I can coach that game 38 times a season, I'm happy. That was essentially what he wanted. So
Peak prime Burnley.
yeah, Yeah.
Like everyone there became Anglo-Saxon immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, his group of bricklayers, I mean, we have to give them credit. They
Yeah.
stayed in shape. I mean, again, in the first half, there were ample opportunities for Arsenal to win this game. Let's
Hmm.
be very clear about that. But in the second half, we weren't even really threatening their goal too often. And
Yeah.
I think there's a very obvious turning point to point out. I've already mentioned it, but it was
Yeah.
when the subs came.
Yeah.
Odegaard came off shockingly early for him,
Hmm.
and Rice came off as well. In the press conference after the game, the manager said that Odegaard was a tactical decision, and he
Hmm.
was very nonchalant about that, by the way. So in case you guys think it's a big deal to him, it's not.
It was
That
tactical.
it was tactical. He said that. And for Rice, it was about a knock. He had picked up a
Yeah.
knock earlier this week, was
Yeah.
playing with it. He asked to come off.
Yeah.
So Jorginho came in. So not well, I guess technically number five is the backup right back right now.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't come immediately. But I do wonder if the manager would do that over again if he could, and leave MLS out there for a little while longer. But I've
Yeah.
kind of muddled the talk here. If you watch the game, you kind of know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But to the subs, the first two subs
Hmm.
were Odegaard for Nwaneri
Yeah.
and Rice for
Jorginho.
Jorginho. And honestly, looking back in retrospect, that is when the game fell apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why,
I mean,
why do you think that's the case? Or that
so
was the case?
so here's my thing. I'm not gonna criticize Arteta for making the subs.
No.
I'm just not going to, because I can go back probably 3 years and we talk about we've spoken about Arteta, leaving it too long to make subs. He's trusting players too much, or he just doesn't have any ideas, kind of
We
thing.
say it every week.
There we go. There we go, kind of thing. However, this season I think he's actually really bucked that trend. So I'm not mad at him trying to shake shit up at all. Like, that's what you want. You don't want your manager literally there sitting on his hands, hoping. Because let's be honest here, that's what a lot of managers do, right? They'll leave the team out there saying, yeah, if I give them long enough, kind of thing, they'll just figure shit out, kind of thing. Like, they'll be what do you call it? Not too scared to come back without winning the game, but they'll have to go on. Sorry.
Here's my thing. As much as I value that development, because
Yeah.
again, we often talk about Arteta. He's been there for a while, so familiarity
Yeah.
breeds contempt, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. But this is still his first head coaching job.
Yeah.
So he's still developing as a manager as well. That process never stops.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 to 10 years in is when I'll start thinking about him as like an expert at his job,
Yeah.
to be honest. But I do think today was the one time where he maybe jumped the gun. He maybe panicked.
Yeah.
Because the team, again, we liked what we saw in the first half, even if we didn't get the goals. That sack opportunity happened.
Yeah.
And maybe it could have been more than 5, 10 minutes after that he made the subs.
Yeah.
So for me, I think as much as I liked him realizing that I need to change something, we're not doing enough.
Hmm.
Given the people he was taking out, I think he maybe went too fast.
Yeah. So I'm not in disagreement with that. So that was my next point. So intention, great, no problem with that. However, it's not even a timing. It was the panicky nature of it, I want to call it. It seemed a bit panicky because I won't lie to you. It got to 70 minutes, right? And I said to myself, we got bare time. I'm not worried, kind of thing. I was like, we got bare time. And then I realized, I was like, yeah, but Odegaard's not on the pitch. So, and it was just like, on Wednesday, he came off at 80 minutes, right? So I was like, but the game was one, okay, cool. But I think if you're going to make an Odegaard sub against tired legs, yeah, and Nwaneri makes sense because he's a dribbler, right? So, cool. You can win a penalty, you win a free kick in a dangerous situation, I get it. Or even just commit players to create space. That's all fine. But Nwaneri came on, and again, he's 17 years old. He's still a baby. Nwaneri did nothing. Like, to be frank, he did nothing. He did nothing. And the same thing happened at Fulham as well. Again, he did nothing as well. Totally expected. Totally expected. Not criticism of him. He's good enough for the manager to call upon him. That's good enough for me. Yeah, so no criticism there for me. But there's a worrying trend basically of Arteta's subs not this season not actually winning us games. Whereas last season they were winning us quite a lot of points. Trossard was doing it. Gabby Jesus I think got 1 or 2 goals if I remember correctly.
I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that.
Go on.
I think the reason why in past seasons his substitutions have had more of an impact
Yeah.
is because he had actually established his team at that point.
Yeah.
The one thing we're not really saying that I'm now about to say is that we haven't really established our team this season.
Yeah.
We don't really, I mean, we know the players we want in it,
Hmm.
but people have always been missing. You know, like, yes, Calafiori is one person, but if he
Yeah.
was healthy, MLS is not playing today.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Ben White, as much as so many of us are ready to move on from him because Urian Timber is
Not
amazing.
I. Not
Of course,
I.
not
Yeah.
us, but I'm just, I
Yeah.
read the tweets.
Yeah.
I'm on Reddit. You know, I see the media clippings. People
Hmm.
want him, they think Urian Timber is a shit, and he is. But Ben White would not go quietly into the night. Okay?
Nope.
Respect my bars, nigga. Anyway, I just think because of the way the season has unfurled, between the injuries, the results, you know, the forcing people to play minutes that they probably should not be playing at this stage of the season, and so on
Hmm.
and so forth. Arteta hasn't quite formed his team, so it's not quite clear who the impacts of is, if that makes
Hmm.
any sense. I'm not sure. I think you need to have a first 11 to 12
Yeah.
settled that's playing well before you can actually make changes to it. Like, you got to know the rules to break them, is basically what I'm saying. And we
Yeah.
don't really know what our rules are. I don't really know what this team is yet, to be honest
So,
with you,
so,
coach.
so, so, okay, let's actually a good thought exercise actually. So, let's actually name, right, our first 11. So we
We're
know
not
that,
going to agree.
yeah, I know, but we know the goalkeeper, we know our centre backs.
Okay, wait. Are we saying the first 11 as we think the manager thinks it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, then, okay,
so we know the
it's
goalkeeper.
Raya,
Yeah.
it's Raya
The centre
from
backs,
who are the
Calafiori.
fullbacks?
Yeah,
Calafiori is the left back.
yeah.
Who's the right back?
I'm gonna say Ben White. I'm gonna say Ben White, and I'll say Ben White because right, Arteta and all managers should be in general, but Arteta is big on relationships and he's big on what do you call it? Being able to repeat stuff over and over again. Like I'll go back to the Liverpool goal, but that pass from Ben White to Saka, we've seen it a million times. Not only just
Nope.
from Ben White, but from five as well, kind of thing. Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see people replicating that enough in recent weeks.
You
I
see what
haven't
I'm
seen
saying?
that past a minute.
Yeah, but again, he's a big fan,
But
and
let's
this
say
is
it's
my,
Ben White. Let's say Ben White.
yeah. So it's Ben White. Then at the base of our midfield, I'm sorry, it is five.
It's
Like
still five.
yeah,
Just look at the minutes.
yeah,
It's still five.
yeah. So left central midfield, it's absolutely Declan Rice, no doubt in my mind. Like we said 2 weeks ago, Marino's been fit for how long, and we were still using five and Rice, right? We still were despite him being fit. Obviously, we know. Um, we know Odegaard is the right central midfielder. Okay, cool. Attack is Saka. Pardon me, Saka, Havertz, and because of recent weeks, I'm going to say Martinelli, right? So that's the starting 11, right? Now, of that starting 11, how many times have we played that starting 11, or how many times have all those players been fit and available? Like,
This season,
yeah,
I'm
it's
not
been
sure
it's
we've changed the lineup.
exactly. Um, which is that's not even a really a huge issue for me. My thing
Think
is though, when we're looking at teams that win, right? When teams that win, not just win football match, but actually win stuff, right? There's genuinely a consistency of um your core players all being fit together at the same time, and then you have your mix and matches, whatever that come in, that plug and play here and there kind of thing, and
you have a spine,
yeah,
then you have the limbs.
exactly, and I think only our limbs have actually been all been fit at the same time, pretty much. Put it like this: we haven't had. It's gonna
Not the
sound crazy.
fullbacks. The
Yeah,
forward
exactly.
limbs, yes, but not the fullbacks.
Yeah, the forward limbs. Okay, the forward limbs. Okay, so here's the funny thing. It's gonna sound crazy, but Saliba and Gabriel haven't played this entire season together. They haven't.
Which is
Literally,
crazy because we're used to them just playing together all the time.
exactly. But they haven't played the whole season together so far. The same way we haven't seen the only constant in our midfield, guys, this season. It's gonna sound crazy. Is five. He's been the only constant, and even then, I think he's had like one. He missed like 1 or 2 games, I think, kind of
And he's
thing.
had to play right back a couple times.
And he has to play right back as well. And then, oh my gosh, am I talking myself into some copium? I think
Inhale it. Hey, listen, brother.
Oh my god! And then we all know what happened with Odegaard, kind of thing. We all know what happened with Rice and Marino, kind of thing. Um, so yeah, like it's been quite patchy. Now again, isn't an excuse because Arsenal's invincible team. If asked anybody that was there, by the way, not you flipping nerds that just weren't there, kind of thing. Not in a rude way, but yeah, like they'll say, yeah, our first 11 was Gilberto and Vieira in midfield, and then Pires and thinking whatever, blah blah blah. Let me tell you, that Invincibles team, right? That best 11, they might have already played together. I think 8 or 9 times that season, literally.
I
So
mean, Pascal Sigan made 18 league appearances.
there we go. So again, but you look at it, that Arsenal team, who was always fit? Henry was always fit. Vieira was always fit. Pires was always fit. So was Ljungberg. So was Sol Campbell. So was Ashley Cole. So was Lauren. Right? Edu played a lot of minutes. So did Sigan, kind of thing. But you look at that, yeah, that is huge amounts of consistency, right? And then you just plug in players where you can. There was a period, I think, in the mid to late part of the season, that season, right? Edu played a fuck ton of games and was fantastic, right? He did. But again, he had Vieira next to him. It's very difficult for Arsenal to build momentum, genuine momentum when your core, your spine they're being treated like plug and play when it should be the other way around. So yeah,
Yeah,
not excuse for Arteta, not excuse for the players,
well,
but
it's not a choice the manager is making. This is a
yeah,
choice that's been forced upon him by circumstance.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so I mean, we don't really know anything. We're just some guys on a podcast. What's the way forward in your view?
So
Because even if the manager, I know he's frustrated people by saying, he responded to a question in the press conference
mm,
about the lack of open play goals, and he
yeah,
pointed to the fact that we beat Monaco 3-0.
yeah,
You know, and obviously people don't want to hear that, but
yeah,
what do you expect the manager to say? He's going to protect his team.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's all or nothing. He's going to give it to them and put.
But he's right. But he's right. The thing is, though, people want him to talk about the league form, right? But matches are matches, and you need to build momentum somewhere. My issue is that we when we have looked like scoring from open play and we don't, we almost kind of, I wouldn't say we give up, but we don't keep knocking at the door. And then we would get we would get a goal from a set piece. Obviously, it didn't happen today, but we would end up getting a goal from a set piece kind of thing. But if you look at it, football change, like I said, football changes so quickly. So it's been 2 weeks since Lisbon, by the way, and it feels like a lifetime, guys. It's been 2 weeks since Lisbon. But Lisbon happened, then West Ham happened, then United happened, then Fulham happened, right? And then we're looking at Monaco. So think about this. Think of how. Just try and remember, you as well, Dean, how you felt after each of those games. After Lisbon, right? After
Yes,
West Ham, great. After United, I was
beaming.
completely, I was over the moon, kind of thing. And then Fulham happened, right? And Fulham was probably the most down I've been about a result, kind of thing. But then guess what? Monaco happened, kind of thing. And then Everton happened, kind of thing. But that's how quickly these things go up and down. And also, it's not just us; it's the players as well. The players have,
Shots taking me
you know,
over.
the players have no choice but to pick themselves up. Now, in terms of ways forward, I said an instant reaction. We have to go to market, whether we want to admit it or not. We have to go to market because this Arsenal team. It's not that we're stale. We're in danger of potentially going stale, but we need to go to market because there's no Dubai this year. We need new energy from somewhere.
Yeah,
And it's very obvious. Look, Raheem Sterling is, as much as I want it to work out, it's not going to work out.
not gonna work out.
It's not going to work out. So personally, I would cancel the loan. Personally, I would cancel the loan,
Send that nigga back.
and
Bring
I would
Fabio home.
yeah, and I would honestly test Newcastle's mettle. I would. Because
Isak,
this, yeah, because this is the level of game breaker and someone that can make something out of nothing that we're looking for. And he's already doing it. It's a plug and play thing for us. Whether we want to play him on the left, whether we want to play him through the middle, it's very much plug and play. Arsenal do, regardless of what people want to say, Arsenal do create enough chances. But you give the ball to Isak in and around the box, something is happening just from the gravity, just from his actual gravity. Like that half yard that Saka needs, he's gonna get it with Isak playing. Players aren't. Unfortunately, I love Havertz, but players aren't scared of Havertz.
They're not scared of him.
They're not scared of Havertz, and
There's too many things.
yeah,
He's
they're not.
master of everything.
Yeah, so I think I've talked. I think I've spoken a bit too much, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
no, that's exactly, moving forward.
Yeah.
I was more hoping for something a little more tactical based on what we currently have. But
Okay, okay,
you went ahead to January, and we were going to get there. But you're right. You're right. I think just in general, just even if it's not Isak, obviously you want it to be a difference
yeah,
maker, a game breaker, but just a new face, like a new
yeah,
credible face to just shake up the mood. Like, hey, listen, man, we haven't been firing.
yeah,
I'm here to take someone's shirt.
yeah,
That's enough to get people playing 10% better.
yeah.
I would say.
So on the tactical thing, right? Again, I mentioned on the instant reaction, the overlapping guys, like Ben White, even when he was injured, started overlapping a whole bunch, and that helped so fucking much because it was just a different way of us attacking. It was a different problem for a team to deal with us. And guess what? Because a lot of our attacking players are very intelligent, kind of thing, they adapt. So if Ben White makes an overlapping run, it's like, oh shit, okay, I now have this space I didn't have before. But you know what? You're dead now because you're giving that to me. Even if it's not even if it's not a condition that I'm particularly used to, I have enough time and space to figure out what to do, kind of thing. Overlaps are so important as well for a host of reasons. But one key reason here is it's a genuine, tried and tested form of chance creation. There's no frills about it. You overload one side, and then guess what? You literally just throw one man forward, and if that ball gets through, it's a free cross. It's a free cross. Like I just even if it's not both of our fullbacks that overlap, one of them has to be a job for the game. Just keep bombing, just making the outside run. You're gonna get the ball. If you do that, you're gonna get the ball maybe 20 to 30% of the time, but it's going to be impactful. It's going to be something. Like the goal we scored against Leicester, it was Martinelli's goal against Leicester, right? It was
Timber?
Havertz's goal against, no, not Havertz, it was Martinelli or Trossard, one of the two against Lisbon, kind of thing. Again, it was two Timber assists is what I remember anyway. But genuinely, those overlaps are just key, and all three of our main fullbacks are all capable of doing that. That's the main thing I want to see. Like just overload it and let's see what can happen, man. Seriously.
That's not terrible because the overlaps were definitely absent. Like in the bad results, they've been absent. Like
Yeah.
why, like you said, we keep thinking about Timber,
Yeah.
and he's not an attacking player technically. He's a defensive player, but in the good results of late, Lisbon, West Ham, he was very much involved in what was going on. And today, for whatever reason, he just didn't get very involved. I don't quite understand, but again, it could have been instructions. It certainly wasn't anything Everton were doing. I never felt threatened by them. They weren't, they didn't come here to win a game. They just came here not to get embarrassed, and they got even more than that. And they even thought they could steal it by the end with their set piece. I saw their fans making noise like something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we didn't succumb to that. What do you make of the sub performances? Did anyone? I mean, obviously, we didn't get the result, so it is what it is. But did anyone do anything that makes you feel as if they're going to make the manager think about his next starting 11?
No, and that's the most disappointing thing. And this is what I was kind of getting at from before. Despite obviously the team not being settled and shit, and Arteta knowing like this is my team now. Our subs last season were just difference makers, man. Even defensive subs as well. Like they were just making a whole heap of difference for us. And sometimes even if a game was won, someone will just come on and just get a goal just because. And it's just not. It's not hitting the same this season, man. Like and I'm not blaming it on one player. Gone.
To be fair, at this time last season, even though we were doing better in terms of points, the performances weren't really popping. Like this team didn't wake up until post Dubai in the new year. So at this time last season, the manager was still kind of figuring the team out. He just had less injuries to deal with.
Yeah.
So it was a lot easier to get to that final answer. So I don't know if this might be one of those seasons where if we're gonna get something, coach, it's feeling like it's more a cup than the league. right now.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I was speaking with my mate on the way back home, and I was like, for Palace on Wednesday, I'm not saying we should field the full 11. Like, fuck no, don't do that. But this is Gabriel's first game back today. Gabriel should play on Wednesday. Absolutely. Like, he should play on Wednesday.
He
Um,
needs minutes.
yeah, he needs minutes again.
He made some uncharacteristic errors today.
Yeah,
Obviously, didn't cost us.
yeah,
Everton didn't attack much, but his little flop over where he
yeah,
protects the ball, like he got late in the game when we really needed that to happen. He was
yeah,
trying to shepherd the ball out, and when Gabriel is fit, that doesn't happen. He
yeah,
nails that every time.
yeah. So
But this is every player. They need time to get back up to their level.
and that's my point. I think Crystal Palace would, if you gave Crystal Palace an option, they'd rather get something from Saturday than the cup game. But it doesn't mean they're gonna come to the Emirates and lie down, kind of thing. But there's an opportunity there. We win that and we're in the semi-finals. Like, so I'm not being funny here. Yeah, like, while I haven't, I suppose we could talk about it now. But while I haven't completely given up on the league,
Oh,
I'm very much. Go on.
I was gonna say I haven't. I
Yeah,
know a lot of people will.
yeah,
I mean, through everything we've said, I want to be very clear. I
yeah,
still think we're in it. Until the math say otherwise, we're in it.
yeah. And that's my thing. But there's an opportunity there. Well, I can't remember the last time we got to a quarter. Was it 21, 22 season we got to a quarter final of
Any cup?
no, of any cup, I think. No, actually, last season we got quarter final Champions League, but quarter final of a domestic cup. I think it was 21, 22.
It's
I
been a
think we lost.
while. We've been going out early.
Yeah, we lost to Liverpool. We lost to
The
Liverpool
game that we
21.
should have won.
Oh, at home, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
When we played that 2-2 box midfield thing, it was lovely.
yeah, so yeah, there's opportunity there, you know. And then again, if we're looking at what team should play, it has to be Trossard, Sterling, and Gabby Jesus. They can figure out what side they want to play. It's not really my business. But the midfield could potentially be strong. Marino could start, Jorginho could start, Wanyeri could start. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a bad midfield,
Right,
for a
right.
cup game.
But
Like,
they haven't played
let's
together though. They haven't
yeah,
played.
let's roll the dice there and see what happens. But yeah, I haven't given up on the league, but the cups are definitely up for grabs, including the Champions League. Let me be clear.
Absolutely. I mean,
So
because the one thing we're criticizing a lot about today, but the
yeah,
one thing that we didn't do was give shit away. Like
yeah,
Everton recorded 0.00 XG.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe we need to give a little more to get a little more.
yeah.
Maybe that's going to be the solution, and that typically requires five in midfield again.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, just a final point on him. And I look, I don't take pleasure in just having to talk about it and stuff like this, but it's a function of the fact that he's still a player at the club. If there was another player on the market that was younger that gave the things that he does, basically, I'm reasonably certain. I'm talking literally profile, height, physicality, all that kind of thing, and then the ball stuff. I'm sure Arteta would be looking for that player. Probably would have bought him by now at this point because Lord knows he's not buying a forward. but but while he's still here, like, and Arteta has shown it with his selections, there's a clear emphasis on us when we want to access the central zones. He is so paramount to it. Put it like this: we're not accessing central zones without him. That's just the bottom line. That's what I'll leave it at that. We're just not. So
well, I I don't think we have enough time left in this
mm,
recording to get into this, but I'm thinking of from a tactical standpoint. I feel as if when we really embraced the box midfield last season,
yeah,
the middle of the season was sort of when we kind of got into that good form. Like the
yeah,
performances started changing. I think about the Liverpool game that we mentioned in the cup,
yeah.
where we slapped them all over the place and just refused to score.
Yeah, we all left the stadium confused as fuck, bro. Like, we were
Right.
like, what the fuck did we just watch?
But the big takeaway from that period of the season last year was going to a box midfield.
Yeah,
And I keep saying this, I can't remember the details of it,
mm,
so I can't really get into exactly what was good about it. But that might be a solution because that kind of seems to be what fixed us last year,
yeah,
I think. But we'll do more research on that and get into that probably the next time we do this because I really want to get into that because
hmm,
I do think for now, ultimately, like you mentioned overlaps, but I think all we can really think of until the window opens is solutions on the field, like
hmm,
tactical solutions, Obviously, if people would just finish, and we talked about this at the front of the show, we would not be having these conversations. A
Yeah.
lot of the issues we're having come from people just not finishing more than presentable chances. If we gave Everton the chances we created today,
They
they'd
finished.
probably get a goal. They'd probably get a goal. And we have the better players. So, it's frustrating. But yeah, coach, it's looking like it's going to have to be the market to
Yeah.
just shake shit up. Anything else you want to get into before we get out of here?
Like, share, subscribe, guys. And yeah.
Keep hope alive.
No, seriously, keep hope alive. The league isn't done, but we need to stop fucking around, and Arteta needs to figure some shit out. Like, that much is clear, and I think we all agree on. We're not threatening to kill anyone here, but Arteta does need to do more. I think I genuinely do think he does, despite us doing some things well. Like, he absolutely needs to figure out this attack. Like, that is really, really my sticking point with him right now.
Put it this way, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But for me, the cool thing about having Mikel Arteta as a manager is that I think he's smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's all I can ask for in a manager.
Yeah.
Can he figure it out? I think this guy can figure it out. Hopefully he figures it out in time for us to still do something in the league. Because I mean, with City in the form they're in right now, this is really an opportunity. Like, it would really start to drop off this season, the same season that City is dropping off. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, that internet banter might kill me. Anyway, I don't read that shit. I'm kidding. In any event, thanks for hanging out with us. This has been the Shirtless Plantain Show Arsenal edition. For Coach, this has been Dean. And you know what to tell people, Coach?
Peace. Like, share, subscribe.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.